On today's episode,
backstory on the TTR. It's a 2023. For adults, you need more gas, more air, bigger CC. Nibbi 24mm carb kit. We got our piston, cylinder. FMF is certainly lighter. The final home stretch here, I think. Check your ring gaps. Got everything put on. Started right up. Sounds amazing. I think maybe tune it a little bit more at the trackside today. So let's talk about what we have here. We got some parts, we got an exhaust. I'm waiting for the 130cc big bore kit to show up, which is out for delivery today. So I'm kind of freestyling this. Backstory on the TTR, it's a 2023. I bought it, it had like 2 hours on it by a little kid. This wasn't even on there, this wear and tear. That's from me beating the brakes off of it. I took out the backfire screen, I cut the baffle. I got the bigger jet kit, but it's still the stock airbox and 16mm carburetor. All that's getting taken off. I've done the BBR fork springs, damping rods. I got the lock-on grips. I got the bigger bars, of course. And I also did the spring. I'd rather big bore this and change the carburetor before I even get things like pegs, extended shift lever. I have raced it a few times, and I mean, it's so much fun as is already, but we're going for a little more power. You see the stock carburetor, it's stupid. It's got this huge long intake. It's a 16 mil, it's super small. It punches some power out, but you can tell it falls flat with heavier riders like adults. For adults, you need more gas, more air, bigger CC. The jet kit I installed was the Tusk cold jet kit. So like both jets are a little bit bigger. Always starts right up. First kick, runs great, it rides great, but we're still gonna mod it. If you wanna see videos of me racing it, go back to my other videos. I also race my big dog here, do local racing just for fun, make videos, good stuff. Pit bike racing is an arena cross, so I'm trying to just get it hooked up. So what you'll see, we got the Nibbi 24mm carb kit. Comes with some jets, which I assume are for a bigger bore anyway. The carb is extremely nice, guys. A lot of people say that. They're really impressed by these. So we'll try it out. Then we also got the throttle, because you can't use the stock one. Comes with extended throttle cable. We got all the boots, the foam air filter, the intake boots, the bolts, the gaskets, it all comes with it. And then I also got the FMF full exhaust, which should be better airflow. Now something I wanna mention is this Nibbi carb kit is the VM24, I believe. This intake that they sent me does say VM26, which is the 26mm carburetor from my understanding. That's the one you want for the 143cc kit. I'm not doing that, I'm doing the 130 kit. But I'm hoping, it says with race head, so I'm hoping this still works, which it probably will. I assume they know what they're talking about when they send these parts out, you know what I mean? And by the way, the 130cc kit is the only kit that you can do without having to bore it out so that the cylinder sleeve fits in. So the 130 kit is the way to go if you don't want too much trouble. I've had a few people say that this FMF exhaust is no good and blah, 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 but it's gotta be a better flow, guys. So we're gonna do some comparison on it. I mean, that stock one's probably 5 times the weight, and it's got to be more restrictive. So we're going to pull that off and check that out. I'm also glad that this doesn't have the little bolts on it. You know, when you buy it, the picture, the stock image on the website has the bolts for the guard, but I'm glad it doesn't. You're definitely going to want to have a torque wrench and then feeler gauges. I think that's the only 2 things we need. You want Loctite also, you want grease. You want to make sure your bolts are clean and greased when torquing. I don't have the feeler gauge, but we're going to Harbor Freight here shortly to get it. So a few things, I like to take everything off, including the gas tank. When doing something like this, it's just easier access. You probably don't have to, but we're removing the airbox and other things, so I like to. It takes 5 minutes. On that note, the TTR110 is a really good choice because everything's super cheap. Big bore kit's 175 bucks, big carb kit's 175 bucks. You don't need the flash and ECU. The bike was cheap itself. I got it for 1,300 bucks with 2 hours on it. And most people would wait until they need a top end to do the 130 kit. I'm not. I like the strong brand new bottom end on it. Everything's clean and new. Also, I take the front number plate off because we are going to have to reroute some cables. When getting the bigger suspension, you have to get the longer brake cable. You can use the stock cables for the stock carburetor with the big bars, but you do have to reroute things a little bit differently. Like I rerouted them up here versus through here. You just cut this and just move them. Oh, and then the BBR rear shock I installed by hand. It was super easy to do. You don't need to use a spring compressor. You just break loose the end. There's also 2 slots for this. I put it on the stiffer one. And then I also added some washers in here. That gave it a little more length on the back, not by much, maybe like almost a half an inch. So it definitely sits higher, which is really nice. But yeah, so far so good. I mean, I beat the brakes off of it racing already a couple times, and I've had no issues. It's way better than stock. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna remove the air box. I'm gonna remove the exhaust, and then we're gonna get all this off. So the FMF is certainly lighter. Yeah, the bore seems about the same size as far as inner diameter. But I'm pretty sure this is very less restrictive. I'm sure the more expensive brands are better, but they also have carbon tips and stuff, and like I always end up breaking exhaust, so we're going with the cheap one. And I also removed the air box. So far so good. The carb is still on the bike. I can tell you got this breather tube that normally goes into the air box here, but I don't know, probably just gonna end up zip tying that somewhere. So I think the next best thing to do is, instead of removing the carburetor completely over there, I'm gonna try to just undo it from here. Few things before we get to getting this carburetor off completely. You're gonna have this hot start thing, whatever it is, and your choke, which goes and connects to this. You can't take this off, so don't bother taking that off. That's welded on. You can see what your choke looks like. You're gonna wanna remove that. And then on this side, you have to undo this little clip here, and then you also have to cut off this, which went here, but I'm gonna replace those now. Yeah, so I zip tied that, and I zip tied that. I'm not too worried about these wires. This is generally a pretty clean area. Plus, I'm not gonna be water bogging this thing anyway. Next up, remove your throttle tube. 2 screws, slide this thing over, get those cables off, and boom. It actually slid right out on its own. I think that's a lot easier than doing all this other stuff over here. Just leave it. So we're looking pretty good. You can see we have lots of room to do the top end. You don't need to take out this bolt for the skid plate. Move the vent hose and the spark plug cable out of the way. This is holding that up real nice. I think we're ready to get into the scary stuff. What I'll say though is I think I need to take off this cover and this cap. Try to find top dead center. I'm not quite sure what to do with this bad boy yet. I think that rubber cap comes out and then you go to reset the automatic tensioner later, but we'll deal with that in a little bit. I'm gonna take this off and this off next. Another nice thing about a lightly used bike is things tend to come apart fairly easy. No oil comes out. Problem I'm having right now is these 2 little screws right here. Got to get those off. They're kind of stripping on me. All right, so since I can't get those screws off, we're gonna go see what we can buy over here at Harbor Freight. This is what I actually need though. This is this impact screwdriver. You tap it with a hammer and it spins it at the same time. And I'm also gonna get this feeler gauge. I think the 0.004 of an inch is what we need for the piston ring. These are all tools I'm gonna end up keeping. This feeler gauge is really nice. You know, I got my Quinn case with the torque wrench. Now I got my Quinn case with my impact screwdriver bolt loosener thing. So this thing's pretty dialed. It's also a really nice kit. I mean, the quality of this is really nice. So I assume you just hit it. Yo, it worked. After realizing I needed the next bigger bit size, all you do is you figure it out. You can see it moves when you push it down. Definitely broke them loose. Fire it up. Then you can pretty much fit any socket on here. So very nice kit. I'm not returning this. I'm keeping this. There's a third hole you have to open here. So to get it to top dead center, you have to put your socket on there, and you get this lined up in between there. I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's 2 little marks. And then you line up this mark with this point right here, of all things. So you can't use the Kickstarter. You got to put a socket on here, because if you do a Kickstarter, it goes through the stroke and it's impossible to get it lined up. So you want to definitely get like a socket and a breaker bar and just move it very slightly and slowly. It works out well. So top dead center. I broke this bolt loose by holding that nut, and this bolt broke it loose. And then I took off the cam chain tensioner. So next step should be to remove this, hopefully get that out, and then hopefully all this comes off. I was very careful to remove the head. I haven't moved any of this stuff yet, and I'm trying to keep everything in line so that when it goes back on, this tab, that line, everything will be good. I'm trying not even to remove that. So I'm definitely losing a lot of oil. Should have thought about that first. I don't care. I'm just gonna do an oil change before I try to start it later. Think we're doing good. There's little dowel pins you wanna be careful with. Well guys, we're making progress here. Got the cylinder off, got the head off, as you guys know, and I still haven't moved this gear. I'm keeping the chain tight, so, I mean, I'm rookie guys, so there's potential that someone that knows their stuff saying I'm overkill right now with these zip ties, but I'm keeping that shit tight. I'm keeping that from moving, and we're gonna get this thing together. So I gotta get this piston out next. Yeah, the old cylinder looks really good. What do you expect? It's like a brand new bike. It's good to inspect the stuff. You notice this O-ring down here, so I'm assuming the new kit is gonna have an O-ring once it arrives in the mail. Be aware of your dowel pins. I gotta get these circlips out. I got this like that. We're on the final home stretch here, I think. So I'm gonna clean some gaskets next. I got both my circlips. I made sure nothing went in there. I do have to clean off some gasket here. But we're looking good, guys. And I think all this is gonna bolt right back together. I still got this at TD Center. This, I haven't touched that. So, full send. So a few other takeaways. It appears that those valves are closed, which I believe is top dead center. And what I'm gonna do is make sure I get all this gasket off next, so I'll do that now. Got this really nice and clean. It was a little tedious getting in there, and I'm also doing it on the head. You can see there's like this other stuff from like that weird gasket, but yeah, you wanna make sure you go through this and get all that stuff up. Do it once, do it right, so I'm taking my time, but it comes off pretty easy. Again, it's a low hour bike. And of course, also clean your gasket off your cam chain tensioner. It's really interesting how this thing works. Use a little screwdriver, retracts it in. But what we'll end up doing is putting this back together, sliding that gear on, make sure we're lined up, and then we'll put the cam chain tensioner in. And you have to keep it retracted, and then you bolt it down, and then you let go of it, and it'll release and tighten everything up. Should. Luckily, it's only about noontime, and we got our kit here. So we got our piston, we got these cool little grip thingies. They give you stickers. We got the cylinder kit. Looks really good, guys. Now, this is what our cylinder looks like. Brand new. It's got some oil on it already, which is nice. I don't see that little rubber gasket on the bottom, so we're gonna take it off the other one. Doesn't appear that it came with the new kit. You see we got our new piston. Looks good. It's got the holes in it like the other one. It appears to be the perfect size. We got our new rings, circlips, wrist pin. Looking good. Yeah, it's only 20 cc's bigger, but it's definitely a bigger piston, that's for sure. So more piston, more power. So now the fun part begins. Taking all this and putting it back into old girl. That's something I should have done at the very beginning is I stuffed something underneath here. That way the oil has stopped dripping out. I could have saved all that oil if I would have just lifted up the front a little bit. So that's something to keep in mind. You don't want the oil dripping onto this when you're putting your new gasket on and stuff. You don't want to use WD-40, and also you want to contact clean that thing, make it real clean, make sure everything's good to go. All my surfaces are ready, so I think we're gonna jump right into it. So something to be careful about, these rings are different. There's lettering facing up, the edges are colored different. The stock piston you can see has like a groove in it. There's actually a little thing sticking up there holding it in place. It doesn't appear this new piston works quite like that. So, but we want to make sure our gaps are correct. Using my feeler gauge, 0.004, squaring it up using the top of the cylinder. I'm going to check this gap on these rings. So if I'm doing this correctly, the 0.004 fits, the 0.009 doesn't. So it's within a range. So honestly, they're perfect for my findings straight out the box, which makes sense. It's a kit. The maximum definitely doesn't fit, and the minimum definitely does fit nicely, so it's within that range, so it's perfect. All right, guys, so the rings are in. I'm advised that the tapered, like skinnier one goes on the top, and then the middle one's your scraper ring, and then I also got my oil ring in correctly. I'm also advised not to put the gaps together on any of them or near the wrist pin. So time to get this thing in with the wrist pin and the new circlips, which should be fun. It's really hard to tell and do it in a video, but there's lettering on them. Lettering goes up also, and you got to compare the rings. The edges are different, and you can see the inside diameter of the rings are different. One's a little bit skinnier than the other, so you got to like pay close attention to that stuff. I did this side first so I could put the wrist pin in, and then it'll be easy to do the circlip on the other side because it won't have the cam chain in the way. All right, using needle nose, I got that one in, and they're both pointing forward. That's the way you want it. You definitely want your intake. Make sure your piston's in right. So next is gonna be dropping the cylinder on carefully, and it's gonna be not easy. It's hard to see in the camera, but make sure all your gaps are not next to each other for all of them. The top oil ring expander, the bottom oil ring expander, your middle ring, and your top ring. Make sure all gaps are separate. That prevents blow-by. So you want to stagger them around the piston and make sure none of them, even the gap for the oil ring itself in the very middle, there's 3 rings. Make sure they're all staggered, and then you can kind of rest the piston like that. Should hold it in place, and I got to figure out how to get the cylinder on. Now, all this may not be necessary, but this is my first time doing it. What I've done now is I've ran a bungee, and it goes up over the bike, and I got it to where it can be connected and disconnected from holding this pretty taut. So I'm gonna clip this other one. I gotta be able to pull on this and then unhook it from the bungee, pull on this, get the cylinder on with the gasket, hook it back up, step away, make sure things are put in correctly. So I think that'll work. So I cut the other one, and now you can see I can unhook this. Probably should have done this from the start. This is actually something smart to do from the very start, so learning curve. So next up, I'm gonna very carefully install this, and I'm also going to then get the cylinder on with the piston, which is gonna be tricky, and then I'm gonna install the guide, and we should be good to get the head on next. See, I'm walking the gasket down while using my hand, but now I can hook it back up and figure out my next step. Don't forget to put your rubber gasket on your cylinder. See, this is why I'm glad I'm doing this, because now I'm gonna have to clip these, and it should keep it nice and tight. We gotta get our piston rings in, and I'll be able to do this now, and that thing should have never skipped a beat. Hopefully, I clipped the zip ties. You can see we're still nice and tight here. We're still doing good. It's still holding it in position. Good to go. I mean, guys, if this is overkill, let me know, guys. I don't know. Make fun of me in the comments if I'm wrong about this. I don't know. I actually like it, though. And now's a good time to check your ring gaps. Make sure none of them are next to each other. Make sure your wrist pin's set right. Make sure you got your rubber piece in here. And just be really careful with your rings. You squeeze them in, you get them in the cylinder. There's a little taper in there, so it's easy to do. And then make sure your dowel pins are in place also. There's dowel pins on only one side. Make sure everything's oriented correctly. We're making progress here, and you'll see the chain guides. Let's say chain guides will be nice like that once we get the tensioner in. So definitely slid in. It tried to turn the motor a little bit, but I got my socket and wrench on there, and I just made sure we stayed in the correct position here. So next up is gonna be the gasket here, and we're gonna try to get this head on and get these things bolted down. Definitely wanna make sure dowel pins are up in here, not on the cylinder head, so you don't drop them in the holes. That'll be protecting you. Then you put your gasket on. So I'm gonna carefully try to see if I can get that on, put it right where it was. Just like that, folks. It seems to be, the timing is perfect. I checked my timing. My little mark is still forward. I was able to get this on. I didn't skip any teeth. I think we're good there. I snugged the bolts down. I still got to put on the chain tensioner. So I'm just going to make sure I just got this snug right now. I got to tighten this. I got to tighten all these 6 bolts with the torque wrench. We got to get that tensioner in correctly. So I think we're in good shape here, guys. Using a screwdriver, you turn the inside of that thing all the way out, and then you tighten those bolts down, and then you release the tension. So the tension's now on that chain. Chain guides are in there, both top and bottom. So we should be gonna put my little rubber cap in there, and then we're gonna tighten this down next. I'm gonna use this and use that and crank it down and torque it down. The camshaft bolt on the inside was 20 foot-pounds. These are 16 foot-pounds. These are 7.2 foot-pounds. Use my torque wrench, got all that done. I even used Thor's hammer here to get these 2 screws back in. Time to cap this, add some oil, go on to the intake. All right, so next up, I gotta figure out this intake. The issue is they gave me 2 heat stops, one of which has like this huge wing on it. No clue what that is. I got the right boot. There's 2 boots. It comes with the 26 and the 24. I need the 24, obviously. And I wanna say, I think this thing with a gasket just goes on here. That's how the last one was, or maybe I need to use a spacer. 'Cause it's got these bolts and these different threaded bolts. I don't know what's what, to be honest. Okay, after trial and error, I figured out you have to use both heat stops. They have to go here. It gives that enough clearance for this not to hit the engine. And then all this other stuff for now, you don't need to use. So you need those 2 bolts with the 1 nut, and I'll show you what to do. First, screw that in, and then drop a gasket on there. Add 1 spacer, drop a gasket on there. Drop your next spacer on there, which has a heat shield, and then another gasket, then the intake. Once your intake's on, get this bolt started, but don't go all the way down with it. While it's loose, you'll be able to lift that up and get this nut on, and then snug down your nut and your bolt. And I'm telling you, it's the only way to get this thing to fit, guys. And then not only that, you have to bend this thing up here because we're gonna have to get the cable to go through there. So let's bend this up there, but it's the only way to get clearance. So it's gotta be that. It's gotta be the only way. You would think there'd be an aluminum spacer, but I guess this is gonna be fine. We'll just monitor it and see if they melt. I don't think they will, because normally this goes right to that and then these are on this side, but it's the only way. These spacers do not go on here. If you don't use both of them, which comes with the kit, you're not gonna fit the carburetor. So I think we're good to go. Use the last little 2 bolts to put this flange on. I got the little thing here. And then you're gonna have some leftover parts, but that's because it comes with the 26mm carb kit also. So just save those for another day. So next up, I'm gonna go through this carburetor and make sure that it has jets in it. And I'm gonna hook up this cable. We're gonna get this throttle tube on. I'm not gonna do a step-by-step on that, but we're gonna start somewhere. All right, I got my cable installed, which is pretty easy. You just got to be careful. Use the little plastic piece, make sure it's in there good. There is jets in it, and we have a couple bigger jets and a couple smaller jets. So we're going to go with it. I actually have this at 1.5 turns out. It was about 2 turns out, so I adjusted that. Idle, no, not sure, but we're going to throw this baby on. All right, fam, we've come a long way. I got the throttle tube on, routed the throttle cable through here, through the tank. I got the tank on. I got the fuel line added. Got everything put on, everything's nice and tight. This side, I got the exhaust on. So the only thing left to do is fill this thing up with 93 octane, which I'm gonna run to the gas station and get. It's pretty empty, and I can't remember if I put 87 or 91 or 93 in it with the stock motor. So we're gonna get some 93, see what happens. It's a moment of truth, guys. We got some fresh 93 octane in it. The gas is turned on right now. There's no leaks. I added oil back into it. So we're gonna try to kick her over here and see what happens. You know, you wouldn't believe it. It fired up in 3 kicks and it's freaking idling perfect. There's no noise. But I'm gonna let it go through a heat cycle. I should have been recording. It started right up, sounds amazing. I'm like terrified to give it gas, but I mean, I'm kind of heat cycling it. Oh God. Oh my God, no way. Oh my God, this thing's crazy. Oh my God. Yo, this thing rips. Oh, it feels like it's, definitely feels, just got a little decel pop. There's gonna be some fine tuning, but we might have to tune it at the track tomorrow. I'm running out of time today. But I mean, it's 3rd gear. It just feels like it'll stretch out. It's running rich at the moment, I think. But oh dude, this thing is gonna rip once we tune her in. I adjusted the air screw, see if we got rid, there's no bog. Like, it's instant power. But it does seem to come down to idle a little bit slow, so we got some adjusting to do.
A few moments later.
Well guys, it's the next day and it's a race day. We're going racing that, but I'm taking this too. I buttoned it back up. I went through every nut and bolt, double checked everything, even the exhaust. We have no leaks and everything seems good. Doesn't smell like gas or anything. So we're gonna probably maybe tune it a little bit more at the trackside today. I'm running out of time. I gotta get loaded up here soon. Lots going on. I'm gonna take the jets and stuff. I think it's running probably just a tad lean. It idles good and everything. Oh, and I also got this dialed in. I had to put the screw in and adjust it. You had to put a stop on it. So it was kind of dangerous before. Like, I was riding it at first and I didn't really mess with it too much and the throttle almost stuck on me, but luckily I know what I'm doing. I'm gonna do an oil change after today's break-in. I did another heat cycle this morning, again, after I torqued everything down. And to be honest with you, when I started it and rode it this morning, it ran awesome. I don't even know if we really have to tune it. I'm gonna let my buddy's dad, his name's Scott Brown, he's gonna look at it. He's the pro. He's the one to kind of walk me through this whole thing too. So yeah, hopefully everything goes well at the track today in the race, and maybe we'll race it. I'm gonna have to probably just put, like, I don't know, tape on here for now. There's not much I can do. I can maybe get a lock-on on this later. Lock-ons won't work with this. I already tried it. And I'm told you can get like a CR125 250 2-stroke throttle tube, and then you can get lock-on. So that might come. This came with the kit. It is nice, but you know, we'll see what we got to do. There you have it, guys. I used some electric tape, made some fakey grip for the day. I certainly don't have time to go buy grips, glue them on, whatever the case may be. So this is gonna have to work for now, but this is not permanent, but it'll get me through the day.
A few moments later.
All right, fam, we're over here at Sand Mountain, and we got the setup, and I'm a little bit early so I can work on the pit bike. So a lot of people are gonna show up. We're underneath the trees over here, racing the bikes today. And I'm gonna get to work on trying to fine tune this thing a little bit. You always warm up the engine, which I'm doing now, prior to doing any carburetor adjustments. You want the thing in operating temp, so I'm gonna go bob around a little bit for a couple minutes. I rejetted it. I put a 108 in it. That's the 105. So we're gonna make it a little bit more rich. I can still mess with the needle. Jeez, he's gonna hose us all in the pit bike class. Oh, look at this. He's got MAGA Trump pit bike. See what he's gonna do. It's like the pit bike spot. I gotta get mine tuned in so I can hit some jumps. He's got the Trump 110. Oh, he's getting there like you, Gleason. You gotta show him up, bro.
That tree pops up out of nowhere, though. That's
Oh, shit, yeah. Dude, look at this thing. Got the Trump edition 110, man. This thing's fully loaded. Got big bore kit. He's got everything. He's got the swing arm. He definitely needs a new tire. Front tire's bigger than the rear. All right, guys, I think I got this thing dialed in. I moved the needle and I adjusted the air screw. I think we're good to go. The thing rips. There's no bogging or anything.
All right, here's the update, guys. We went up one jet from a 105 to a 108, and we moved the clip on the needle. We richened the bike up. It was too lean, like I suspected. There's no funny noises coming through. The only noises I hear is just the carburetor gurgling, which changes when you change the air screw and or the throttle. So I thought there was some noises coming through, but there's not. The thing absolutely rips. There's no more bog, no matter what you do with the throttle. It idles perfect. The air screw's at 1.5 turns out. Oh, here's these guys. You'll be in the video, bud. Oh, watch this, guys. That's first gear. Oh, she just rips in every gear now. It just pulls, like second, third, fourth, pulls. So here, watch. I'll give you from a dead stop. I gotta be careful, but here we go, right? I'm in first. Fire it up! You gonna go out there and cheer me on? Alright, let's go. Fired up. I think we're after this race, so I'm just gonna chill here. It's like an SSR, maybe 125 or something. What, that CRF 110? Oh yeah, let's go. Gleason's got his 190, man. He's gonna rip on this thing. We're gonna detune it. We're gonna put the throttle limiter on it. Yeah, it feels like it. All right, it's quite a few people, so should be pretty dialed.
Good luck, man.
Bro, you should go grab your 110. Way faster! Oh, I'm still getting hosed. E-bike. I need tires bad. The power and the speed. Need tires. Definitely has more power. Tires. That's rough. I need tires. These tires suck. Good job, yo. The track is still very slippery and rutted up, guys. I need tires. It was definitely better last time I rode here on a pit bike, but I was definitely faster. But I don't know, it's fast, guys. These kids weigh like 50 pounds. Love it. Shit was fun. All right, fam, it's a couple days later. She's good to go. She just needs tires. You can see in that race video, I did good out the gate. I was in the top 3, and I was just letting off the gas before the jumps and stuff because it was so squirrely, and that tire does slip. These are like dual sport tires. So we're gonna get rid of these tires. We're gonna put some knobbies on her. She should be good to go. It's pretty snappy, and it just revs out. She's got a lot more torque and power now, guys. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned. We are going to race this thing in arena cross. That's really where I want to race it, is arena cross. You know, these outdoor pit bike races are really loose, and Sand Mountain was as wet and loose as I've ever seen it in any race. So we're really getting it prepared for the indoor arena cross pit bike racing. That's where this thing's going to really rip, and you'll probably see me do a lot better in racing come time. So give me some time. We'll keep doing some performance mods. So lastly in this video, after 6 or 9 heat cycles and then riding it around and racing it and beating the brakes off of it, we're gonna drop the oil, see how it looks. I just cleaned that oil pan, so let's have at it. I'm not seeing anything out of the normal. There might be a few slight little super mini particles, but it's pretty much normal, especially when you do a piston. So we're gonna call this one good. That's pretty much all clutch material you see. It's not metal shavings, it's just dirt from doing the actual oil change itself. Well, this is gonna conclude this video, guys. I just put a new quarter 10 weight 40 in it, and just let it cycle through. This one's a success. We'll see you on the next one. If you wanna see more, go ahead and subscribe. I think at WD-40 on the motor. She's clean. Thanks for watching, guys.